Thank you so much for bearing with us as the last panel. We'll try to keep it short, interesting. Uh, and we have the speakers from all the domains. We have oil and gas, we have digital, uh, we have folks who can talk about a wide variety of industries. So I would like to start with the topic name itself, which is resilience, which means nothing but how do we ensure that the digital platforms at scale which are either built or possibly building are resilient enough from attacks. And not only attacks, it's about how do we keep the continuity, how can we keep the business up and running. So maybe starting with Deeraj, Lieutenant Deeraj, we would like to hear your perspectives and go round robin across all.
Thank you very much. So as for me, instead of resilience, we'll have to call it as full stack cyber resilience. Now, what does that mean? I'll start with the quote of the great Field Marshal Sam Manekshaw. He once said, there are three qualities of a leader: professional knowledge, competence, and courage. I'll try to map that accordingly as per as cybersecurity terms. So for me, the professional knowledge means governance. Now, what do we ensure in governance? Governance ensures our foundation policies. We have to manage risks and definitely ensuring compliance. Then comes security. Competence. Security means now, that acts as a defense layer. We have to prevent, detect, and response to the threats. And then the third aspect is insurance. So whatever risk we are not able to, manage, we have to transfer the risk. The risk transfer comes under the cyber insurance. That is how full stack cyber resilience should work. In the current scenario of threat actors, I was having a conversation with the, I think to the extreme left, there are three young gentlemen sitting there, and they were telling me how they are able to communicate with the threat actors over dark web. And they said, sir, I was, as most of us will agree, governance plays a very important role, but they raised a very important issue, sir, the threat actor, as they are into deep dark web, communicating with the threat actors on daily basis, have infiltrated a lot of groups. They said, sir, take example of the power outrage which happened in Spain or Portugal. The government entity must be regulated, must have ensured all the compliances, must have implemented all the security solutions. But the threat actor, his name was Glitch, the group's name was Darkstorm. They said, pardon me for my language, they didn't give a damn about, whether you have ensured the compliance, whether you implemented the security solutions. But they exploited the 0 days which they were able to find. That means the risk transfer becomes very important here. We have to transfer the risk in sense of either cyber insurance, individual cyber insurance, without naming the organization or the individual. Most of us CISO here know what happened to one of the CISOs amongst us when I was still a CISO in my previous organization, India Shelter. Okay. And out of that, the threat actor named and blamed the individual, and what happened to that individual post that. So not only the organization, we have to take care of the individual also in this case, and the individual cyber insurance also becomes important.
No, thank you. Thank you for bringing up the important topic of cyber insurance. Of course, that is one facet of it.
That was a part of the transfer. Apart from that, governance, we have to ensure that our regulators are always our regulators are always happy with us. We have to ensure all the compliances.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and implementing all the security solutions, whichever either we need it or is mandatory by the regulator.
And possibly let us hear from everyone in their industries. Maybe Dr. Arvind, starting with you, if you can just talk a bit about what you see.
So, as we work in the shipping industry, where the major ports, where all the trades happen between the countries. So these all the OT or the IT are security prone area where the intruders are trying to capture the data information or try to hack the infrastructure, and especially the OT as well as the IT. So we are having different type of the framework where we have engaged C3I Hub of IIT Kanpur to help us for all 12 major ports for the cyber security kind of things. We have in place our cyber security framework and our team, each port having the dedicated CISO who look after the local level cyber security kind of thing, and we have the centralized SOC at our Indian Port Association at Delhi. So we analyze all those logs and which kind of the preventive action we can take based on these logs. That is our strategy.
No, thank you so much about talking about the detecting and the preventive controls. Can I request maybe, Bhudev, you to talk a bit about it and then pass on?
Good evening. I'm from Numaligarh Refinery. We are an oil and gas company. So from my side, for resilience, when you talk about cyber security, we should have the full stack. Not only cyber security, we should also have a policy and procedure for risk assessment, incident monitoring, and subsequently, we should have, what I mean to say is, we should have a full-fledged SOC, because in refinery we have two verticals, IT and OT. So we should have a SOC system in place. Then obviously one major important function is data backup and recovery. So once we take a data backup, we should also test the backup, because many a times when we try to restore the backup, it may not work. So testing is important. On top of that, we should also, I talked about SOC actually. There are various products in SOC. So these are some of the very important things. On top of that, we should also have training, employee training, awareness. So since time is very less, I don't want to elaborate more. So basically, SOC system and the full policy and procedure should be there actually. Thank you.
No, thank you so much.
So firstly, thank you for inviting me here. So I take care of Tata Digital's portfolio of companies, and I just wanted to highlight a few things what I see in my perspective to security, right? So first is, what we see is that attacks are becoming more sophisticated, right? Even today, and you cannot protect your companies or, without having an automation and AI being in place, because the sophistication and the modules which is being developed in the, the various threat actors, they are getting more and more sophisticated. So you need to have better sophisticated AI-driven platforms, which is becoming the need of the hours. I've seen a lot of sophisticated phishing, a lot of things which is going on and which is changing the way we used to earlier work. Second is, I just like to touch upon, because the skills of a CISO, what we have been doing and how we have been working. Today, there's a need for more skilled people. Even the CISOs have to change, and we have to be, and that's why I'm highlighting is because the team over here represents that. They have to be more hands-on. Even it's not like, what you used to have earlier. It's more like you have built a policy, you have set up a SOC, and so you need to get far more deeper, right? You need to have the skills, you need to understand what has been configured. You need to always look at things. Security is as good as your weakest link. So you need to evaluate every time your weakest link, and so that you can protect it. Nothing withstanding, we are in an era of cloud and AI, right? And everything is defined as applications. So very important it is that we continuously look at and evaluate how is your application, API framework, whether you have a SIFT-led approach, what is your penetration testing approach. I think for compliances I've seen, we also have companies which are payments or insurance companies. A lot many times you feel, okay, we have put a process, it should work, do a PT once in a year. I think we have left that era, right? Where you have to build your internal capabilities or whatever capabilities that you think, or external capabilities, it has to be tech talent, where you can do at a much better frequency, much rapid scales. Because once you get a zero threat, zero attack which happens on you, I mean, once it is detected, you will get breached. So I have seen those situations in public infrastructure. I had an opportunity to work with various government organizations on their roles. And I've seen that moment something is out in the domain with 0 day, they already have the list of infrastructures which will get impacted and you get a breach. So even without, having those things like what is required, right? Because the moment you have a 0 day, you may not have the right kind of protections for that. But you need to have right set of alarms so that you can detect it and you can remediate it. I have faced these situations real time, where attacks are becoming very sophisticated. Once the 0 day has come in, you immediately get breached. And you need to have a far better control in terms of AI, automations, technical skills. And one last point, because I think everyone to understand, today's the CISO role is not just a tech role. It spans across everything, and it is very complicated because you deal with people, you need to deal with application, you need to have depth understanding of applications. So there's a lot of change and shift is needed for us to be resilient. So it's no one single answer to resilient. You need to look at many hats. You need to look at HR hat, you need to look at legal hat, you need to look at compliance hat, you need to look at the technical things. You need to be as good as others are. So skill requirement for even CISO or for the leads have become significantly important. And just looking at a compliance may not today work because threats are becoming much more complicated, very sophisticated, and there would be people who would be sitting for years in your system but not disrupting it because there are people who are coming with different mindsets. So if I look at China, their mindset is not to breach you or be a disruption. The objective is to cut, copy, paste. If I build Amazon, can I cut, copy, paste that code somewhere else? So different people are coming with different objectives. Some are coming for data theft, some are code theft, some are looking for ransomware. So you need to really see what are the competitions looking in for and what are the attackers will be looking for. I've seen situations where people are sitting in your system just to get an access to a system, but really not doing anything. But their objective is to take out the data, the objective is to take out the code, and not really disrupt your business operations. So these are something which is very important because your SOC will not detect, SOC will think that it's a very usual thing. So needs for an advancement, need for a lot of automations in the environment to be resilient in this. Thank you so much for your time.
No, thank you so much, Dr. Uttam, for bringing to life a typical life of a CISO, talking about the AIs and the attacks and the sophistications out. Sandeep, if you would like to add something.
Good evening, everyone. I am Sandeep Sood, working as Joint General Manager IT in HUDCO, Housing and Urban Development Corporation. We are into infrastructure financing. So security for us is very important to have the trust of our clients. We have our systems in place, ERP applications are there, which are getting accessed across all the regional offices in all the state capitals of the country. So the data of customers has to be kept secure, and data should be available. Data integrity has to be maintained. For that, we have established our in-house data center, security operations center, and network operations center. Approach we follow is the traditional approach of security, having the layer of security at every level, application level, network level, data level, API security. We have our disaster recovery site at Mumbai in a different seismic zone. We take our backups. We follow standard guidelines from RBI. Master directions are there which we have to follow. We do all the compliances. But compliance is not just as a checkbox. It's a continuous process that compliances are meant for enhancing the security and not like a statutory thing. Yeah, and roles and responsibilities are segregated, policies are defined, so that there is no confusion of who is accountable and who is responsible for that. Yeah, nope. Thank you.
Very well said. Defense in depth is one theme that came out of it. Sumit, if you want to add.
Actually, we are living in the era of the digital transformation. So, means what actually in the digital transformation, what actually we are doing, we are working on the two majorly verticals, where we are working on the capacity building sides, where we are mostly focusing in the resilience sides, not providing the trainings on the basis of the contents. We are providing the training basis of the rules, what rules will be there. Same time, we also providing the trainings on the basis of the SOPs as per the industries, and also we giving the depth analysis and using the emerging technology, what top of we are doing that. We also knows that we one of the largest data producer in the world. So we are using the AI ML based models in the supervised learning models, where we are training our models to predicting the future malware, where that will be going to be the harm to us. So that's why we are focusing on the pointing toward the resilience sides. So this thing we are doing.
Sure, thank you. That's instructive. Nilesh.
Thank you so much. So after all of this, guys, it is nothing but to summarize, and it is extremely amazing to hear the practitioner's view. See, resilience is an ability to bounce back, right? And all of these guys kind of responded saying, how can they kind of bounce back? Now, this is a land of Shiva and Shakti. Okay, so just taking a cue on that. See, cyber is all about offense as well as defense. So at times, you basically also have to do an offense by putting honeypots and all of that. But the defense is the main thing. So I will just take out Shiva from the picture. Let's focus on the Shakti, and let me try to define the framework on the Shakti part of it. Okay. So if you look at Shakti, you look at S. All of us are actually building platforms, right? All of these guys are actually building platforms, the digital platforms. And what is needed is basically secure by design, the S part of it. Second is interoperability is extremely critical between all of these things. Even the securities, when you look at your SOC and NOC centers, how do you harmonize the H part of it? The harmonized standard. A, close to my heart because we work in cryptography. Agile cryptography. I think all of us are aware of quantum threat. That means that we need to move towards a different kind of a cryptography. That means the agility is needed, even in the infrastructure part of it, right? So that is the A part of it. K, I would believe that it is, from the nation state perspective, the cryptographic sovereignty. I'm sorry, play of words. It's not C and K, but the cryptographic sovereignty. That means we should have our own standards so that all those threats basically goes away. The T part of it is all familiar to it. We call it zero trust, right? So zero trust infrastructure by design. So secure by design, and the T actually combines it. And lastly, is the most overused word, but the underplayed word is the identity part of it. Identity for everything and everybody. We always worry about human identities, machine identities are left out, right? So inclusive identity infrastructure for building the secure by design, cryptographic agile infrastructure. I do believe that that would be the holy grail in the coming future. Thank you.
No, extremely, the NHIs that you talked about, the quantum that you spoke about. Actually, I was thinking about my second question around it, which you already answered. My thought to all of you, and maybe I'm just looking at the time in the ticker as well. So very, very quickly, any one of you can volunteer given the time crunch that we have. The question is around how do we look at the next gen resilience? What we are doing today versus what we want to do, be it ransomware, be it protection against the quantum threats, anything. Any one of you would volunteer to speak one line about it?
First of all, I'll just try to summarize what Uttam sir said. So as per whatever sir said, I think I'll summarize in one line as you have to be jack of all trades and king of at least one, you know. And sir brought about OT and IoT. So the current scenario of OT and IoT, if we talk about the important infrastructure or the critical infrastructure of the company, let's talk about Tihri Dam. If some threat actor has got access to Tihri Dam and they open the floodgates, it will take just 5 hours for Delhi to get flooded and the entire country going for haywire. So talking about what the ransomware, threat actors, quantum. So we had our internal research ourselves and we found out that, you know, the issue is not about AI and quantum. The issue is about the hallucination of that. Or when I say hallucination, it's just not the hallucination of the solution, but hallucination of information also. When a threat actor will, like the current scenario when we have warm GPT and other GPTs into picture, you just need to, you know, give it few keywords and it will create a malware for you. So ransomware as a service, crime as a service is running these days. You just, you know, contact one such group and they'll say, these are the services we give and as per crime and these are the bitcoins you have to pay and we'll give you that service. Now quantum technology is not easy, as all of us know it is. So that means that the state-sponsored ransomware groups only will have access to that, be it bears, be it pandas, and be it whatever the North Korean national animal is scored. So that means the hallucination of information and threat actor is saying, I have got access to, quantum technology and this is what I can do. How will we able to find out? How will we establish the credibility of that? Like the 18 billion or 16 billion leaked passwords which were there recently. So, and we found out actually how most of those were correct. We contacted a lot of individuals and companies and those were there. So quantum must have played a role to that.
Sure, thank you so much. I think I have 100 more questions to go, but unfortunately not even a minute more. With that, I would just, thank you all for bringing to light the challenges in the resiliency space, what all you have been doing in your respective organizations. We talked a lot about, and great quote, Nilesh, around the Shiva and the Shakti. A lot of insights from everyone here around the industries. Amazing discussions. We will continue in some other forum some other day, but thank you everyone, for the time and the thoughts to be shared. Thank you all for patiently listening as well. Thanks.